Hey guys, so Lloyd here, back again with another action figure review, and today we'll be taking a look at the Marvel Legends fan channel exclusive Secret Wars Iceman. Not to be confused with Invisible Man, because that's pretty much all we ever seem to get for Iceman figures nowadays. That said, this of course brought to us by the fine folks over at Hasbro and Big and a Bad Toy Store, who were kind enough to help me out with a major quality control issue I had with this figure initially, and I'll get into that when I get into the articulation. So, with that being said, before we get too far ahead of ourselves, why don't we cut right to the chase and get into the meat and taters of this review and take a look-see at all Bobby Drake, that's his name, right, has to offer in terms of accessories. He's got a lot. He's got a pair of fists. They get the job done, I suppose. We also get an alternate head that's a little bit more serious looking. I'm not sure if this guy reuses anything from the previous retro card Iceman. I don't have that figure. I almost bought it because it was dirt cheap, but I was like, I don't like the boogie board thing. I wanted a proper ice sled, and this is one measly step closer to that, but we'll talk about that. Well, he does have an alternate head there. He also has, this is kind of funny, he's got a snowball. Kind of sucks we didn't get two of these, because, you know, what's the difference between snowmen and snowwomen? Snowballs, not snowball. Does Frosty have cancer now? That's depressing. That said, we do get a couple of ice blasts, and these are actually meant to mimic him, you know, blasting up his ice slide. He kind of... Do these connect? I don't think they do. They like low-key look like they're supposed to, but they don't. But these kind of like look like they go together like that. So you can have him shooting his ice boogie board, which is reused from that retro card Iceman I didn't buy. I'm kind of glad I didn't buy that figure, because at this point I'd be getting rid of it, but you know, these and this is closer to a proper ice sled. I mean, if you look at that, it's not terrible, but we need something a little bigger. That's what she said. It's too freaking small. And it's not stable. It doesn't stay together. Those effects fall off his arms. It's a pain right in the patootie to get that set up. That said, we do get the lenticular shield thing with the flip-out handle there, which I am probably just going to send to my buddy T-Biz, because that's where I sent all the other ones. So, taking a closer look at good old Bobby Drake here. Speaking of Bobby, the previous Iceman had a Bobby Vala likeness. I don't know if this one shares that same sentiment, but he looks fine for being not comic accurate in the slightest. First of all, Iceman is always drawn white with blue highlights. He's never drawn clear, because you can't draw clear in a comic book. If you're drawing clear in a comic book, you're not drawing anything. So, case in point, the Invisible Man or something like that. Second, I think he's more buff than this usually. At least in Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, he was built like a linebacker. So, maybe the Vulcan body would be a better fit for him. I mean, the first Iceman from that, oh gosh, is it Uncanny X-Men box set where Beast was like a human with big old Popeye arms and Hobbit feet? That one was on the Bucky Cat body, but lately they keep throwing him on the Sunfire body, which that's exactly what this is. This is the Sunfire body. It's just pinless! So if you're, you know, OCD about all your figures being pinless, at least he's pinless, so he's not going to fall over. Said mine does have a floppy crotch peg, but some super glue will fix that. But either way, I feel like he should be a little bit more buff than this. Just a little bit, not a ton. It's Iceman, not, you know, Beast or something like that, or Cable or Bishop, one of those dudes. But I feel like he should be on the same playing field as Cyclops. That's just me, though. But as far as his articulation goes, his head is on a disc hinge. Can rotate, look up and down. And this is where the first issue I had with my original copy lied. They didn't inject enough plastic into the mold, so he had a weird, like, Frankenstein bolt hole on both this side and this side of his neck. It took my dad to take pictures of that for BBTS to actually see what the Sam Hill was going on, and then they sent the replacement. I got it in, like, less than a week. I think we shipped it out, like, Monday, and I got this guy on Sunday during the Christmas season, so that's impressive, although BBTS usually doesn't wait to receive the defective items before they ship you out the replacement. So that's the one good thing about them, amidst others. That said, shoulders could pop out to the side, about this far. You could swing back and forth with that beautiful butterfly, which to this body's credit, it does have a really good butterfly joint. It's pretty smooth. It's not the cleanest, especially on this guy. Seems like this sticks out a little bit, but it does function really well. He's got a swivel in the shoulder. He's got a bicep swivel, which, despite being made out of clear plastic, again, pretty smooth. I don't feel the need to put like soap or anything in this guy. He's got a single jointed elbow, not a single jointed, double, but trying to get that top one to go is easier said than done. There you go. Decent range out of that. He's got swivel hinge wrists that work just fine. Ab crunch. This shoulder is pretty tight on mine. I might actually heat that up. Crunches forward like one notch, back one notch. It's nothing impressive, but it does work. Swivel at the waist. Now, here's the thing. Here's the thought, Hasbro. Can we get this belt to come the frick off? Like, that would be nice. I'm gonna probably attempt to heat this and slip it off past his bum, but it would be nice to get the X belt on Iceman to be removable, because he doesn't always have it. Spider-Man and his Amazing Friends, he doesn't have it. You know? You know, my mind's eye view of this character, he does not have this stupid belt. It just looks weird, breaking up like the Iceman aesthetic. So I would like a belt that's a little easier to take off. That said, his hips can kick out to the side, back down, forward, back. He's got a thigh cut. Pretty butter smooth on that side. What about this side? Well, same deal. You know, if it weren't for the whole yellowing thing, clear plastic's pretty good from Hasbro. So, you know, he'll go from looking like the Invisible Man to P-Man. Double jointed knee. Boot cut. I'm actually surprised. I do have Spirit Spider, and he's got some pretty smooth, clear plastic joints. And then he's got a hinge in the foot with a rocker and peg holes at the bottom of the feet. So, that is Iceman in a nutshell. He's not terrible. He's not the worst thing ever, but for crying out loud, can we get a figure that's just white? I'd rather just take it white and have somebody paint it. Just like highlight the eyes, maybe. Put some line work on the eyes and the mouth. And like make them out of white plastic. And then I will have somebody custom paint the blue highlights. Or, you know, mold them out of blue and then put white paint on top of it. Because then he'll look frosted. Like the flakes or whatever. But, I digress. It's a good figure. If you're in this Secret Wars line as deep as I am, you might as well get him at this point. Because I don't know who else we're going to see from this. I'm hoping we see that leaked list second wave. So there's some characters in that I would really like to have, like Constrictor and Absorbing Man. Maybe even the Daredevil and the Falcon. I think there's like 2 more. Be nice to get a Hobgoblin in this wave, because the ones we got kind of suck. So, with that being said, it's time now that we move right along and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here is good old Iceman alongside one of his fellow X-Men. I have the Tiger Stripe Wolverine from X-Men 97, because no, I don't have the MVC one yet. I do plan to pick it up, though. It looks really, really nice, especially in the anatomy department. But this one isn't bad. I like this one because it does have that animated style cowl with the really wide, I don't know what you call those, fins, ears, black parts. And I don't mind the claws on this one either. That said, we also have another really good ally of Iceman, especially if you're into Spider-Man and his amazing friends. There's the Maximum Spider-Man, which is more Todd McFarlane style Spider-Man, or Eric Larson, whichever. But as you know, Iceman's look doesn't really change until like Age of Apocalypse. He's mostly just, well, usually white with blue highlights, but he's just a dude. He doesn't have like a costume. It either has the belt or it doesn't. So I think he works great with these two. Again, I think he should be a little buffer, but he is taller than Wolverine and probably about neck and neck with old Webhead there. So getting these two out of the way. Curious if we'll ever get an Iceman on this Max Spidey body. But why don't we bring in our two regulars, the Mythic Legions of Brother Mandibilith. There. And the infamous Limit Spawn, who, as usual, towers over everyone. So, with that being said, it's time now that we wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, while he may be the best Iceman figure in the history of the Marvel Legends line, Hasbro, Toy Biz, or otherwise we have received thus far, I still think, and I'm not budging on this opinion, I still think we could do much, much better. For starters, Iceman is not freaking clear. He is white with blue highlights, or something like that. Second, I don't think he's this skinny. I think the Vulcan body would have been much better for this character, if I'm being honest with you, because he's usually drawn to be pretty buff, at least in comparison to the likes of Spider-Man and whatnot. So I think he's a little too skinny, and he's not the right color. Third, we need a freaking ice sled. A proper ice sled, not effects that fall off his arms and a boogie board. Other than that, if you really want an Iceman, this is probably the best one to get right now. Just be mindful that due to the clear plastic, he might yellow over time. Fingers crossed that doesn't happen, but you pretty much are rolling the dice when you are making stuff out of clear plastic or picking stuff up made out of clear plastic. So with that being said, if you guys enjoyed this review, until next time, I'll catch you guys later.